Hello, I'm Reggie York. This is a presentation on assigning decision responsibility in organizational problem solving. Let's look at the decision process for problem solving with a highlight on this particular presentation. What is the problem is one step. How can we explain the problem is another. Number three, which is the focus of this presentation, how do we assign responsibility for determining the solutions to the problem? Assigning responsibility for different people to be participating in that process of determining what the solution should be. How do we evaluate possible solutions to make decisions? So this particular presentation is about number three. When you think about roles for organizational problem solving in regard to decision making, you could conceptualize that there is the role of decision leader, decision staff also. In other words, some people are given the responsibility to be the leader. If the decision doesn't get done or doesn't get done in time to solve the problem or help things work out, then certain person's going to get yelled at. That is the decision leader. Decision staff are people whose cooperation is needed for effective implementation, meaning they are the ones who will implement the solution to the problem. So the question becomes, for this presentation, to what extent should they be assigned responsibility or power over the decision to be made or the solution to be accomplished? Let's think of levels of delegation that one might engage in as the leader. The leader could choose, for example, uh, for the staff, no participation at all. The leader makes the decision alone, in other words. Number two, the staff could be consultants on the decision. That is to say, as the leader, you ask the staff for recommendations and you take them seriously. Or collaborator, that is to say, you say to staff, we will find a solution together, meaning I won't implement something or order something to be done that you do not agree with. So there are three levels of participation: none at all, consultant, or collaborator. Those are terms we'll use in this presentation. Does the delegation of decision power to individuals in the organization help? Let me ask you this question. When you've been given no power over a key decision, how has this affected you? You might want to pause for a moment, and think about it and come back. Well, you probably did not like that. How was it different when you were given power? Did you feel more committed, more invested, and so forth? Does decision participation help with decision quality? Meaning, are you likely to get a better decision if you have decision participation? Those are key questions in regard to why we talk about the delegation of power in decision participation. Also, does decision participation help with decision commitment, meaning the extent to which key actors are committed to the decision psychologically? Some important questions. The last one here we'll talk about is, does it help with decision efficiency? Do you get more efficiency the more you have participation or less efficiency? Well, participation takes time. Time reduces efficiency. So participation actually makes efficiency worse, not better. Decision efficiency and decision commitment. Is decision efficiency sometimes more important than decision commitment? Can you imagine a situation where efficiency is more important? It may mean you have to get the decision made very quickly. You don't have time for participation. Does that sometimes happen? Well, I assume you'd probably agree that it does sometimes happen. How about this one? Is decision commitment sometimes more important than decision efficiency? Meaning you need commitment and you do have the time to have participation. Therefore, decision efficiency is less important than decision commitment. Some those are important considerations in regard to the question of what level of responsibility should you assign to your staff as the leader. As leader, what would you do? Would you delegate decision responsibility at the collaborator level on all decisions? Or would you delegate at least the consultant level of responsibility in all situations? Or would you use of each of these depending on the situation? Sometimes collaborator role is what you use, sometimes consultant is what you use, and sometimes you have no delegation of responsibility at all. Well, in this presentation, we're going to advocate for the latter. It's what makes sense. It depends on the situation, and we will talk about different aspects of that situation in this presentation. What if, as a decision leader, you have enough information to make a good quality decision, and the decision staff are likely to accept your decision? Do you ask them for advice using the consultative role? Do you give them power using the collaborative role? Or do you use no participation at all and just make the decision yourself? Well, that really makes sense that you would make the decision yourself. And the more that efficiency is important, the more the argument could be made that you just make the decision by yourself as leader without any form of participation from the staff. What if, as decision leader, you believe your staff will resist a decision made by you without any participation from them? What is the consequence here? Can you make the decision alone? Um, well, that would probably be ruled out, I would say, because um, they're likely to resist. So you'll use in that situation either the consultative mode or the collaborative mode. What if, as decision leader, you do not have enough information to make a good quality decision alone, but you and your staff do not have agreement on the goal to be accomplished in this situation? What about this situation? Hit the pause button and think about this. Okay, so you need their help, but they don't agree with you on what's to be accomplished. You need their help, so you can't decide alone. You've eliminated that option. So you're down to either consultative or collaborative. If you use the collaborative role where you don't have goal congruence between yourself and staff, you're giving too much power to the staff. They could end up not solving the problem because they don't agree with you on what to become. So it looks to me that in this situation, the consultative role would be helpful. You do get their information because you need it, but you don't give them the power to veto the decision if that's what they choose to do. So let's look at criteria for determining what level of participation to use. First of all, does the leader have sufficient information to make a good quality decision by himself or herself? Are staff likely to resist? Does the leader and staff agree on the goals to be accomplished in this situation? These are the critical questions we will pose in regard to which decision participation mode makes the most sense in a given situation. Hit the pause button, look over this, and come back to me. In this situation, you probably have enough information to make a good decision by yourself, and there's no reason to believe that staff will resist this. So I would suggest that no participation at all, where you make the decision alone as leader, makes the most sense. How about this situation? Hit the pause button, read it over, and then come back. Okay, in this situation, it looks like you do not have goal congruence, right? The staff seem to distrust the attorney general, I mean the district attorney, and fear that this office does more harm than good. So there's going to be a potential problem if you use the collaborative mode. It seems to me that that's giving the staff too much power. So I would suggest the consultative level of decision responsibility should be used here. So let's summarize. Decision participation improves decision quality and decision commitment, but reduces decision efficiency. So the more participation you use, the more you'll get a quality decision, and the more you will get decision commitment. But efficiency is reduced. So you have to look at which of these are relatively more or less important as you think about what level of decision responsibility to use. When efficiency is more important, you reduce the level of participation among these three modes. But when commitment is more important, you choose a higher level. To continue our summary, if the leader has sufficient information to make a good decision that staff are not likely to resist, the leader should make the decision alone. Decision participation is inefficient. So if the decision you will make as a leader will work, then do it and don't take the extra time it takes to have participation. If staff are likely to resist a leader decision made alone, the leader must employ some form of decision participation, either consultative level or collaborative level. If staff and leader do not agree on the goal to be accomplished, the collaborative mode is ruled out. Okay, that's the completion of my lecture on decision participation. I hope this helps.